We begin with the unit 3 of the Beehive Reader and the prose part of it, the little girl. Now, before you start reading the chapter, the story, now that you are in the process of becoming an adolescent, you will not be relating with what is actually happening in the story, but when you grow up, when you become an adult, it will become easier for you to understand what the story is trying to say, but a part of it you can understand what the emotions of the characters are. Now, the parental process nowadays has totally become different from what it was earlier. Earlier, parenting was all about discipline. Discipline in Indian society, if I talk about, discipline used to be like inculcated in the human being. Sometimes it was accepted by the people, they would not rebel against it, and sometimes you would be given nicely a beating or thrashing for you to be disciplined. So either it was natural that you were disciplined or it was forced upon you, discipline. But apart from all this, the role of the parents now are that they are friends. They are like friends. You can share anything with them, you can demand anything of them. But in olden days it was not like that. Especially the father figure of the home, the patriarchal family, what we talk about, the man of the family, the children were very scared of the father because he was supposed to be the most disciplined human being in the family, and people wouldn't raise their voices to talk to them. No, firstly they would not talk to them, or they would not even like to communicate with them because they were so scared of that person. Now you know what is the scenario with your father and mother. Either of the two, I would say, when it is a patriarchal family, then you give more importance to the man of the family because he is the earning member and he enjoys a lot of amenities because he brings in economy, he brings in money in the family. So let's see what is the feeling of a little girl when she sees her father. I'll be explaining in two parts. What is the trauma one girl goes through when she sees her dad? She's a very small young child and not much acquainted with the father. The father doesn't play with her, the father doesn't talk to her, but he's a strict disciplinarian. He's kept his image, he's made his image in the family as such. Now let's see what happens with this little girl. Do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Perhaps now you understand the reasons of some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. This story is about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding, will probably find an echo in every home. Like when I was a kid, my mama used to tell me not to do this, not to do that, and I used to rebel against her, saying that why are you with so much full of no's rather than yeses? And I used to back answer her. But one day I realized when I became a mom, when I switched the role plays, when I became a mom, that even I would do the same to my own daughter. That I would say no, 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 no. So there was reasoning for the no's to be said, but I understood only and only when I stepped into her shoes. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to the work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with goodbye, father. Now the only moment of touch and feeling over here was the morning part of it. She was very scared of her dad, and when he used to go away for work in the morning, he would come kiss her. That was a casual kiss he would give, like a blessing kind of thing to his daughter, and say goodbye. And there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. She wouldn't be happy when he would stay at home. she would be happier when he would go away out of the home, because she would feel free then that he's not around and she need not be scared about anybody. In the evening when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there and bring me my slippers." So this is like the tantrums being thrown by the man of the family. He asked for different things over there for them to be done to him, so that he has come back from work and he needs all the comfy zone what he wants in the house. Kezia, mother would call to her. That little girl's name was Kezia. "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots." Now, if you are told to do this kind of a work, you will definitely not do it. So there was a clause saying that if you need me to tell you that you are a good girl, you need to take off the father's boots. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly, still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. Now, she doesn't want to go and encounter this person. So her pace of moving is very slow because she wants to avoid that man. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying the little girl. That man like whom he only kissed her and went away and had no means of communication, no warmth, no love. She was scared of him. So the look of his eye was enough to scare her. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" So that's what the father tells her to do. Take off the boots and put them out. And then, "Have you been good today? Have you been up to some mischief?" "I don't know, father." Now this girl is stuttering. She's feeling very nervous in front of her dad and she's not able to speak the words properly, and she's repeating her words. "You don't know? If you stutter like that, your mama will have to take you to the doctor." So usually stuttering, stammering are speech disabilities. So he's saying that if you keep on stuttering like this, little did he know that she was nervous, that your mama will have to take you to the doctor. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. She had a problem of stuttering, but in front of others she was not nervous. In front of daddy she was nervous. So only in front of daddy she would stutter, but she almost come over that difficulty, and now she could speak properly. "What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about?" Wretched means unhappy. "What are you looking so sad about?" "Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of a suicide." Like when the father saw the facial expression of the child, he thought that this girl was about to commit suicide. Like that kind of an expression was there on his face, where he was telling, "Mama, didn't you tell her not to be grumpy? Didn't you teach her how to be happy?" Here Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. So he gives her one more errand, one more job, that take this teacup and keep it carefully, don't break it. He was so big. His hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. This is the description what the child gives of her father, that he was like a giant. He was big. She was young. She was too small. But to describe your father in this way is really hilarious. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. On Sunday afternoons, my grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. So there should be a time when parents talk to each other and become casual, like have a casual talk at least once in a week. Now it is like for you and it's every day, but in the olden days it was supposed to be like, go at least like not having that fear in your mind, go talk to your parents. So when she would go down, she would see her mama reading something and dad happily dozing off and snoring. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched. So stretching his body means when you wake up, you stretch your arms and legs. So till then she would wait cautiously over there to see whether he is waking up or not, and asked the time. Then looked at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. So if you've seen owl's eyes, they're very big and they seem to be like gazing at you since hours, like since ages they have been gazing at you. So he calls her look as the brown owl's look. One day when she was kept indoors with a cold means she had cold and coughs, common cold problem, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a piece of yellow silk. A pin cushion is a small, around 3 to 5 small 1 inches cushion on which you actually insert pins to store them. But this is not the case. She wanted him the pin cushion because he was fond of cushions, like he used to keep his legs on it and rest. Laboriously, with lots of hard work put in, with a double cotton, the little girl stitched 3 sides. Now a cushion will have 4 sides. She had stitched 3 sides because when you make a cushion, you need to stuff it with something. So one side is left open. So she had stitched 3 sides, one side was left open. But what to fill it with? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. The scraps are the leftovers of pieces of cloth or anything which she can stuff the cushion with. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case, then sewed up the 4th side. Now there were papers lying on the bed. She took them, she tore them into tiny bits of paper and stuffed them into the cushion and sewed it up. What did she want to do? She actually wanted to gift it to her father. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. The hue and cry means a lot of chaos was there in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Now he had to go to the Port Authority and give a speech, and that was missing. So guesses? Obviously the paper she had torn was actually the speech. Rooms were searched, servants were questioned. Finally mother came to Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room? Oh yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. The little girl couldn't even lie. She didn't even know the gravity of the situation over there. She didn't even know that she had to lie. So what did she do? Admitted, yes, I did it. Oh yes, she said, I tore them up and for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. So her father was getting very worked up. So come down now to the drawing room immediately. And she was dragged to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. So he had his hands behind his back and he was walking to and fro speedily. That's a sign of anger. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No. Here comes again stuttering. She whispered, Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See that the child is put to bed this instant. So in the olden days, hitting in all, in abroad, states abroad, countries abroad, hitting is not allowed. So, but if you had to punish somebody, you had to put them in a room and lock them up, or you have to put them to sleep. So he was getting so angry at her that he instantly ordered her to go and sleep in the room. So let's see what happens in the upcoming lecture. Thank you.